Hello there, this is Rajat here from Startup Frat. How are you doing? Hope you spent a good and productive Sunday doing something constructive and also staying out of trouble, which is more important. Okay, so I have some announcements and some information for you based on some of the input I've been getting post the webinar yesterday regarding the people who attended and some questions they had, and some people who could not attend because of the new platform that we were using, and some of the other people who didn't even see the announcement for some reason, and they want that information, etc. So I'll just quickly walk you through how this works. Uh, we have so we are building the Startup Frat community for like-minded individuals who are interested in doing something creative in order to protect themselves from post-pandemic slowdown. So now there is 3 levels of information I'm providing over here. One is in the Startup Frat page, the business page, which is a public page. So you go to facebook.com and then you write /startupfrat.com. Okay, it's all one word, startupfrat.com. So if you're if you're in the group and if you would like to join the public page, you can do that. That's optional because most of the information on the public page I'm already posting inside the group. If you're watching this on the public page or somewhere else and you want to be a part of the group, then what you do is you go to facebook.com/groups/startup-frat. Okay, that's the group. So facebook.com/group/startup-frat. And then there are webinars which I announce within the group that you have to attend at a specific place and time. I try to make it convenient for both you as well as me. And then these webinars, as a policy, I don't record, I don't replay. And if you're in the webinar, I provide some useful information at the end that will be actionable, that you can work on and start building your new brand or whatever it is you want to build. That information is not available outside that webinar. That information is not available in the group. That information is not available in the public page as well. So you have to be there in order to get that information. So you have the public page is level 1. Nice, important information. If you watch some of the information on the group, you'll realize that even that free information is worth more than any education you will get outside, in spite of paying money to management people and all that. Then you have information that is a little more focused, because I'm trying to get an idea of which are the people who are a little more serious, and I want to provide this information only for them. Okay, and then there is level 3 information, which is provided in the webinars. Okay, which is highly focused, actionable information. So if you want information over here, you need to be here. You need to watch the announcements page. The group has grown pretty big, so I don't know if some of the posts you are able to see or not. There's 600 plus people now or something like that. And what happens with Facebook is the organic reach is not very much. So if I post a post or something, it may not reach everybody. So what you need to do is every day, at least once or twice a day, you need to actively in your app, you need to go inside the group and check for posts and announcements. Or every day in the morning, you go to the announcements tab of the group and actually check for announcements, because if you miss the announcements, then you don't attend the webinars and you don't want the information from the webinar sent to you by WhatsApp. That's not going to happen. Okay, so all of these levels of information is free. Okay, and if you're in the group and if you think you've gone through some of this information, if you think this is the industry's best possible information, not available anywhere else, I would like you to interact with me and put a comment over there. So we've been interacting over the last 10-15 days, and all of this stuff I'm giving to you just to kind of show you, to focus your attention. All of this stuff is coming from hundreds of crores rupees worth of business building in the last 15 years. Okay, this is a real stuff that works in all the markets, that works in the US, that works in India, that works in Southeast Asia, all the markets that I've ever worked in. Okay, this is real stuff. You want to follow it, you need to pay attention. For that, what you need to do is be very active in the group, and because the organic reach is not there. I cannot reach my message to you by force, because Facebook is not probably showing all the posts to everybody, because organic reach is dead. So if you're in the group, Here, you need to check for the announcements and attend the webinars. Now, there were people who said that I tried to attend the webinar, but I was unable to. So there is some information about it. We do our webinars on Zoom, but because there has been a security issue on Zoom, we are using Demio for now, for the next week or so. Okay, so Demio. Okay, and we are actually working with Zoom. I have a team in touch with Zoom, where now Zoom has come up with a security feature because they had so much public pressure and everything. They've come up with a security feature where we can actually go inside and choose to set up where our data flows from. So if I choose to use the Zoom app, but I don't choose to use their servers, in Hong Kong and China and all that, I can actually choose my own servers. So they go through Europe or whatever, the more kind of reliable locations. So I can do that, but the team is testing that out, and I will not know how that works till later in this week. So this is Sunday today, right? So later in this week, we'll know, and then we'll be back on Zoom hopefully. Okay, and some of you were very nice in the webinar yesterday. You're like, relax, Rajat. Every company uses Zoom. I thank you for that that cooperation and encouragement. But I'm a business house. I do not want to compromise the security and the privacy of your information. So I am just being careful about it. Demio is a great platform for now, and it accommodates up to about 50 people. Now, there are two ways to use Demio. It's important if you want to attend this webinar. I'll hold this webinar again with a little more detailed information. So it will be relevant to you if you missed the webinar. It will also be relevant to you if you attended the webinar. So I'll make it a little more detailed. So there are two ways to use Demio. If you have an Apple device, a MacBook, or an iPhone or whatever, okay, just get the Demio app. It's like a green logo or something, and just get the Demio app. That is the best way to attend that webinar. Okay, again, we are going to be using this only for maybe another 1 or 2 webinars, then we'll shift back to Zoom. But for now, if you want to attend the next webinar, I'll hold it on Tuesday night. You download the Demio app. Now, I personally do not use Apple. I use Windows laptop and then Apple Android phone. So the way to do it is you have to go to your browser, which could be Mozilla or Chrome. And then what you need to do is you need to clean out your cache, because this whole webinar is heavy on the browser. So what you need to do is clean out your cache and preferably attend the webinar on an incognito window. Okay, so you need to open an incognito window, and in there you paste the webinar attend link, and the experience will be smoother for you, and you'll be able to not be thrown out of the room and things like that. Because if your internet connection is heavy, then what Demio does is it kind of disconnects you, and some people face that. I was in talks with the company all day yesterday, and then I found this out. So they've given me some best practices. I will send them to you for all the webinar registrants. If you register for the Tuesday webinar, I have not announced the link yet. I will do so either tonight or tomorrow morning, Monday morning, and then you can register for that. And I will send you an email which will give you the details on how to clear your cache and attend the webinar through an incognito window. Okay. Okay. For people who have a Mac, just get the Demio app and attend the next couple of webinars before we get back to Zoom. Okay, so that is about the webinars. All right, now for the actual people who are talking about the niches and sub niches for the webinar attendees, you already got the PDF download. We are going to be talking in detail. I'll just wait for a second for you to be able to note this down. So we're going to be talking in detail about the niches. And one thing before we get back again together on Tuesday, because this is the most important thing. Once you hone down on where you want to work, where you want to strike, and what is going to be your message, which is your arsenal, the rest is all easy. The rest is a game of, just getting, assembling tools and technologies together and getting your message out. So all of that stuff is easy. And if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm technically challenged, but I'm learning how to do this myself. All right. So now, what was I going to say? Okay, yeah. So now what you want to do is, if you have that PDF with the 100 plus sub niches, etc., what you want to do is, whenever you're selecting or just kind of thinking about, honing down on an industry, sub industry type, and I've given, branching into the very depths. So if you go down into the more deeper you go, the easier it is to do business, because the more specialized you are. And you may not have all the skills right now. You may not know everything. Like I wanted, for the last 10 years, I wanted to do some kind of internet marketing, but I was not good at it. I was not good at the technicals, but literally in the last 2 or 3 months, I've trained myself up to be about 80% good at some of this stuff that I do. So you can do that. You may not have all the skills or the specialty to begin with, but you need to, you need to probably read a few books or take a few courses or whatever it is. Get your knowledge up. You don't need to be a specialist. If you have better knowledge than the average person, that is good enough. So what we are going to do is we're going to use an H-shaped strategy. Okay. The first thing is you need to have a wide enough knowledge about a range of topics in that sub-industry. Then you need to have very deep knowledge in one area in that industry. Okay. One area in that industry. Like in my case, I have a huge amount of all this variable knowledge for marketing and all. And then I have a very high level of knowledge in high ticket sales, where if you sit in front of a customer, how do you get them to sign a check worth 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs? So that is my specialty. That has been my specialty in my career. So I know a lot about this, and I know a little bit about, other areas like all this marketing and all of that, how to get your message, etc. Okay. And then what you do is you have to go wide in the market, right? So you get your message to enough number of people who may not even know that you exist. So like in this Facebook group of 600 people, there are about 250 people who didn't even know that I existed like a week back, right? But you and I are talking today. So if you get your message in front of enough number of people, even if you are not the Sachin Tendulkar of cricket or something, you will be able to get your market, and you will be able to build your presence. And the other stuff, all the specialization will be built inside the market with paying customers. Okay. So no need to worry about that. So you don't need to be an expert, but you do need to select your niche based on what your passion is or what your area of expertise is. Do you think you will be able to work in that area for another 5-10 years or whatever it is? Because at the end of the day, business is a long shot game. I give you all the 60-day plan and the 90-day plan, but unless you have a long vision, even though 60 days will not work. So people who are in it, Michael Jordan was the number one ever in basketball, or maybe Kobe Bryant was the number one ever in basketball, not because they were the smartest and they were born with the right skills, because they loved the game so much that they were willing to spend 20 hours a day practicing, even in the off season. So if there is an area of passion for you, like this thing is an area of passion for me. I'm not getting paid for this, but I want to make sure I belt out at least one video every day, right? So you want to do that. You want to select an area of passion for you, and we'll talk about it once more in great detail in the Tuesday webinar. Okay, so we are going to use an H-shaped approach. So if you're right now thinking and doubtful and wondering, I'm getting a lot of messages, I have this doubt, that doubt, don't worry about it. Just select anything that you think is an area of liking for you. Okay, and I'll just give you a quick trick on how to find out what's an area of liking for you. So you go into your YouTube history. You go into your internet history, browser history. You go into your bank and credit card history. Okay, what have you spent your time and money on when you were not working? Okay. When you were not working, when you were relaxing, what content do you prefer to watch on YouTube? What content do you prefer to watch on the internet? What content, what is the stuff that you buy with your credit cards? Or so there's a friend of mine who is a very well-established dentist in Chandigarh. And he's like, dude, this is not happening, now at 40 years of age, he's like, dude, tell me something more creative to do. And we went into his credit card history. The only thing he buys is golf magazines. He plays a little bit of golf, not very much. He can't hit a ball very well. But he buys a bunch of golf magazines on the internet, YouTube. He's watching these golf tutorials and things like that. So I'm like, maybe, golf is your passion. And he's like, well, I'm 40 years of age. I cannot become a golf player at this stage. I said, you don't need to have that kind of mentality. That golf means you have to be a player. That does not... Think about the ecosystem. So if you're watching this video, And on my page or in my group, there may be a video, if you scroll down below, about the 5 stages of influence and 5 ascending stages of influence. And the highest influence level is ecosystem. So think about it at an ecosystem level. Okay, think about players. What do they need? Do they need some information? Do they have a pain with the golf club brands that are there in India? Do they have an issue with the way the golf courses are maintained? So golf courses, you have golf apparel. Courses is the grounds. Okay, you have apparels, then you have coaching, golf coaching, then you have golf online videos on how to perfect your swing and things like that. Then you have golf magazines. Okay, and then you have golf sponsors. All of this forms the ecosystem. Okay, so there is one point of entry where you're going to get in. Like, for example, this guy reads a lot of magazines, so he knows what kind of magazine content makes a good magazine. And if he realizes that there is only 1 or 2 golf magazines in India and maybe 100 golf magazines in the US, then there is space over here to enter. And then you enter here and then you go wide, right? And then you use your one big skill and then you get it to in front of enough number of people. That's your H-shaped strategy. Okay, so think about it from a ecosystem perspective. Whichever, like somebody had said, agriculture, that's good, but agriculture, does that mean only that you're going to do all the farming, or do you want to think about where are all the best seeds coming from? What are all the bio friendly ways of doing pest control in the fields? How can you maximize? So there's technology based farming that's there in the US. How can you maximize the yield per hectare? India, in spite of 50 plus years of advancements in farming in other countries, we are still doing manual labor, manual farming, chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and our yield per hectare is pretty low in most areas as compared to the world standard. So how do you, just think about the whole ecosystem. Do you have clout in the supply chain? Can you get product, which is fruits, vegetables, over to the end retailer faster? Do you know more retailers than most people know? Do you know more? Do you have clout in more cities where you can get your stuff out faster and get it sold faster? Do you have over here, do you have some expertise in getting organic at a cheaper rate, because it's organic and you don't use pesticides and fertilizers? Literally 3/4 of your crop or 3/5 of your crop may be actually destroyed because you're not using chemical fertilizer or pesticide. So that means that whatever crop is left, the 100% organic, if you're doing 100% organic farming, it is actually 2 times to 2.5 times more expensive than the other brands that are selling. So do you know how to bring that cost down? Can you create some videos, or can you create some material around that? So what you do is you build your influence using that information, and then you pull in the interest, and then you go ahead with whatever your offerings may be. And we always recommend you go in with at least 3 offerings, because the way the market is changing, any one offering may fail. So that's how you position yourself in the ecosystem. We'll talk about it more during the Tuesday the webinar, but this is some information I wanted to get across to you. So all these questions are basically, it's making me seem that you're more myopic in your view, that you're thinking only linearly, only in one area, and B, that you have a little bit of scare, you have a little bit of fear. Hey, what if I choose my niche wrong? Can you help me choose my niche and all that? You don't worry about it. You cannot go wrong. As far as building a business is concerned, most principles are the same. The same principles I used in dealing in real estate in 2007 or the same principles I used working with startups, or the same principles I use today. Okay, so the principles of collecting information, making it packaged, and building products around it and making it consumable by a large number of people, the principles are the same. Even if you go wrong in the niche, you can always change that. And again, it'll take you maybe another 30 days to change your approach and things like that. So don't worry about it. That's it from my side. You have those links over here if you want to join any of that. If you're not in the group, you want to join the group. If you want to follow the public page, that's cool too. We have 10,000 plus followers on the public page and 500 plus people in the group. And then on the webinars, typically this platform accommodates about 50 people at a time. So I'll send out the invite, but if you want to get in, you should get in Most of the serious people in yesterday's webinar were there literally 10 minutes before the webinar started. So that gave us time to connect with each other, etc. Right? So if you were there in the webinar, you would know that. Awesome. So that's it from my side. You have a happy weekend. I will see you again tomorrow. And then you can expect another announcement for the Tuesday webinar tomorrow in the group. And I will see you then on Tuesday. Okay. See you. Bye-bye.